1800s. Buckaroos, my great-grandpa had a cattle ranch. Zephyr's Cattle Ranch, I think is what it was called. They were coming up here wrangling the cattle and everything like that, and they'd get out to walk around and they'd find these sparkly stones on the ground, picked them up, and they took them into town, and the word got out that this place was opal enriched. And the first guy to come out here and stake a claim in the valley, his name was Mark Foster. He staked that claim in 1910, and then when he sold this place to my great-grandpa in 1945. He could care less about it. It was my great-grandma that loved him so much. You have to have eagle eyes to be able to spot these a lot of the time. Kids are the best because they can get down right to the dirt and see everything. Once you do train your eye, it's going to be pretty easy. Okay, so we're looking through the tailings here, and in this case, you don't have to put anything in the water. It's all going to be naturally cured. So if you're looking for jewelry, then the tailings are the places to be, because you could just slap it right into a pendant or a ring or whatever you want to do. So that's what I would recommend if you're looking for jewelry, but if you're looking for nice specimens, then you probably need to be in the bank down there. But when you're going through this stuff, you just want to rake through it, just kind of thumb through it, expecting the worst, hoping for the best. You want to pick up anything that looks like a limb, basically. But it's never going to be in the form of a rock, so you never want to pick up rocks. You always want to pick up limbs. So everything to do with this stuff is all theories, basically. Nobody really knows exactly what happened. But anyways, there was probably a forest right here. The caldera was right back in there. You can see where the table went back that way. What I'm thinking happened was when that volcano blew up, it blew all these trees into this lake bed right here. And it was a saturated lake bed. And all those limbs settled at the bottom, and over time they rotted out. And over more volcanic activity, the silica got hydrated and it was forced through the clay and filling all those voids that are the limbs. An opal is in the crystal family, but it's not a crystal. That's why you get a play of color. Like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and all that stuff, they might have a little shade of color, but it's only going to display two colors basically, and opal has a dazzling display of all the different colors. Can I borrow your rake right here really quick? Thank you. What you want to do, you're basically just raking through the clay here. And what I like to do is I like to get through all these clods right here and get down to the finer material, because that's where your glass is going to settle. And a lot of these spots are overlooked right here, just like this. People don't see them and everything. Sometimes what I'll do is mix it up and make sure that glass is falling down in there, to that finer stuff, and then I'll take my teeth like a quarter of the way down. I won't really get down in there and rake it, because then I'm just raking all the wood out. So I'm just taking it, scraping the top. And I have about a 60% recovery rate when I do this. I like to look for the freshest material right in there and right over there. That's where I have the best luck doing it this method. You gotta have a lot of patience when you're going through here, and you're always looking for limbs. And eventually I'll run across something like this right here. This was a little limb right here. It's got a little bit of white stuff on it, and you can see the little glimmer of glass in there if you move it around to different shots. But that was, you know, that's how it's going to look right inside the dirt. So it's going to be very camouflaged, so you got to get your eye trained to it. And once you do that, you can do so much better in the tailings than you can in the bank. Easily. I have better luck in an hour in the tailings than I do in the bank all day. So,
it's cool, it's like pink.
yeah, it's cool.
It's little, but do you get your little fire inside there?
Yeah.
It's not very big, but at least it's there.
Yeah, that's neat.
That's so cool. Okay. I was out here before about 4 years ago, and I thought it'd make a good club outing. And I'm one of the officers for the Rockhounds Club.
Oh, nice.
So I thought, what better place to take rockhounds than to actually find stuff that's amazing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so what your opal is a hydrated form of silica, SiO2NH2O, and it's getting all of its silica from all this stuff in here. Basically, your volcano, it pushed all the wood from the forest into this saturated lake bed right here, and it created a molding of the piece of wood in there. And over time, that piece of wood disintegrated, and that hydrated silica was able to fill those voids. So when you're digging for opals here, you want to look for wood voids all the time. And here we have a massive limb cavity. which once held a giant branch, and all that silica got down in there and filled it up, but it didn't dam it up. So it just rotted out that wood and let all that finer silica keep going down. So generally, I like to get under those right there. I generally like to look for little feeder veins that are opalized up here. There was a big pyroclastic flow right up here where it trapped all that water and it superheated it and it forced it through the clay here. And sometimes you can see those opalized feeder veins in here, and that's usually a good indicator that you're going to have some glass down below. The original color to this hydrated silica is a white toothpastey gel, and I like to look for these white silica deposits here. I like to call them poop trails here. It's usually an indicator that the silica was flowing through there and down. What makes this opal black is it mixes in with a compound called manganese, and it makes it an amber and a red color depending on how much manganese was inside the silica at the time. Basically, when you're looking through here, you just want to look for a void inside the clay, and it's just slow and steady. But then again, you want to be going through the stuff. You want to shave it and optimize your chances of finding something inside the clay. IMSHA requires that you keep a straight face, so you always want to be looking for the stuff on the top. This stuff is very unstable when it's dry, but when it's wet is when it's going to be stable and not a hazard. And the person coming in here and undercutting is going to make it a hazard for the next person. So you want to maintain keeping a straight bank at all times. And here was a big limb cavity right here. It got filled up with the silica and it wasn't enough to dam it up, so it kept going and it just rotted out all that wood right there. So usually I like to think of those as filters. It's catching all that bad, heavy, viscous silica and it's letting all the finer stuff go through. So I want to get all this stuff out of my way here and just keep going down and see what's down. You want to try and chase the glass to the best of your ability. Sometimes it'll do pretty good, and then sometimes you'll get skunked. You just never know. The key is keeping this clean. If you don't have it clean and you hit an opal, generally you hit the better half and it falls to your feet. And if you have this dirty, you're not going to find one. So you want to keep this clean. Get down to virgin ground down here, and right there you are. After you get that clean, you're good to go again. You're just listening for glass. Here's some more volcanic ash. Usually good to be around and under. Not so much inside because it's too dense. It's never gonna penetrate this ash here. Sometimes this ash will have fire in it. Crazy things come out of here. New and different things. I've been up here every day for the past 3 years now helping everybody, and every time somebody finds something interesting, it's always new and different. So just phenomenal pieces come out of here. When you find an opal, you can usually tell right away what type it is. If it's going to be fire, precious opal, or no fire and a common opal. Anytime you have fire, it's precious, no matter the background. Anytime you have no fire, it's common. So you could have a black opal and no fire, and it's just a common opal. But you could have a really junky looking white opal and have lots of fire in it, and it be a precious opal. So you want to look at all the colors or all the angles to see if it has any colors in it before you deem it colorless. Oh, see, so there's one. Your silica is a liquid at one time, so it's going to come down in there and self-level right there. Anytime you see that perfectly flat surface, it's usually an indicator that it's an opal. And this has been missed by a miner. A miner will only collect 35% of the opal that he pulls off of this wall. So it just makes it very nice for the people in the tailings. That's what you're looking for right there.
Actually,
Just
hold
like
it a little
that,
closer.
2 feet long. So this is what they call a limb cast. The wood made a molding and the silica came down in there and casted it. Hence the word.
Found my black opal finally. I found a couple of nice specimens. One of them is like that long.
We want to see
Good.
There we go.
black opal.
Yeah, look at that.
Can you see the fire in them? Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Look at the tip of it in particular. It's got
You
like, it
Is
almost
it all
looks
the way
like,
through?
yeah. Look in there.
Oh, cool.
That's a neat horse. Hey,
Over in the sun.
So there's the sun. Just trying to find the sunshine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and whenever you get all the clay rind off of there, you can really start to see a lot more of that color.
Yeah, how do you go about getting that rind off?
Most of it, I'll sit there with a needle awl and just like poke it until I get to the glass and it'll stop, and then I'll scrape all that off with like dental picks.
Yeah.
And then from there you can take and polish them down with like lapidary equipment, like diamond grinders and stuff, and get all the surface like smooth and polish it up if you want. Some people like to leave all the like branch, like, you know, grooves in there and stuff though. But I don't know. I'll probably clean it up pretty good though. That's what I was looking for, a big chunk. And I got another one that's about this big that broke into 2 as well. They always seem to break.
Yeah, that's what I
But it's the best specimen I've come out of there with yet. And
How many times have you been here?
This is my 3rd trip. This summer was my first one, and then I got hooked after it. And I didn't find anything that nice the first time or the second time, but
Do you get better at it then?
maybe.
Okay, this is the black opal. You can see the different colors in it, black, red, green, orange. This piece is also unique because on the other side, it has wood in it, the different colors. We have all different colors that come from the mine, black, white, everything in between. This is a piece of opalized wood. Another piece of opalized wood. This is a opal that we find here. This is called a matrix opal, and it just has pin fire in it. We keep everything that we find, so we don't throw anything at all away. These are just a bunch of little different opal chips, and we put them into an epoxy resin, and then Jake puts a little wire wrap on it. So you get the black opal, you get the white opal, green opal, blue opal. It all has fire in it. This is what we call an amber colored opal. This is real unique. Very seldom do we find one that is this orange colored, that has color in it. This is a really nice piece of opalized wood. We call this Africa. It's got the electric blues and greens in it with some reds and yellows in it.
I wanna